Hello, this is Public Advocate, and I'm Shirley Graves. And I have a very interesting guest that I want you to get acquainted with at this time. I was reading the San Francisco Chronicle a few weeks ago, and on the front page of the second section was a story about a dose of improv helps ill kids heal. And I thought, that lady would be a wonderful guest on my show, and we could find out about her work and what she's doing, and more people could do this work. My goodness. So I have seated beside me here Jenny Debevec?
Debevec.
Ah, bingo. Yes. Debevec. And she is going to tell us what she does with these children. She works in several Bay Area schools, and we're just going to hear about this, the kind of children that she works with. Jenny, yes, let's hear how you got started in this, and tell us what you actually do, and then we'd like to know how you got started doing it.
Okay. Well, I am a teaching artist. The reason that this article was written is because I work at Lucile Packard Children's Hospital in Palo Alto, as well as we also have a branch at El Camino Hospital in Mountain View. And they've started probably about 10 years ago. Lucile Packard reached out to Theater Works of Silicon Valley and said, we have these kids who are isolated, they're in long-term medical care, what can we do to help them? So we got a grant, and we have an amazing grant funder, and they developed the Healing Arts program. And so we do improv classes for elementary school, we do a class for elementary, we do a class for middle and high school, and then we go into hospital rooms where patients can't come into the main hospital because they're isolated. Maybe they have cystic fibrosis, or they're waiting on a transplant, or they're getting, various treatments, and we do games with them and their family members. And then we also do a class at the eating disorder clinic, which is in Mountain View. So that's what we do, and it's really fun.
Oh, goodness, and you're helping so many children.
Well, we're trying to bring a little joy, a little imagination. You know, one thing is that a lot of these kids, they don't have a normal social environment because they're in a hospital. Oh, yes. Even though there's an amazing hospital school on site at the hospital and incredible teachers. But this program really helps kids interact in a fun way that maybe they don't get normally. Right.
Oh, but you now, how did you get started in this?
Well, I got started. My background is performing arts and education. I've been an actor and a teacher for as long as I can remember. And I was invited to start teaching with Lucile Packard about 5 years ago with another teaching artist friend of mine. And we ran the program for a while, and then we brought in Kelly Reinhardt last year, who is a speech language pathologist at San Francisco State. And so in the course of our program, one thing I've been documenting anecdotal evidence of the kinds of things that I'm seeing in the classes. You know, patients who've gone from, just huddled up and not talking and not interacting to body open, asking for more. I've had patients who have been having temper tantrums, and then I grabbed a puppet and introduced the puppet, and we've interacted and got her sitting down and doing her math homework. I've had many patients with eating disorders who have gone from being really closed off and angry to interacting, laughing, smiling. So now I'm collecting it, and my hope is, I'm a graduate student at San Francisco State, getting my master's in counseling, that I'm trying to start documenting what we're seeing in this program with the hopes of building it as a therapeutic program.
Right, and so it can be, your directions can be followed and used around the country, around the world.
That's the hope, yeah, to develop a comprehensive improv therapy program. So we're at the very beginning of that.
Where did you start? You were studying acting?
I've studied acting before. I studied music in college. So I'm a singer and an actor, and done on-camera stuff, and teach auditioning and voiceover at Voice One in San Francisco. But my love and my calling is education, and I just love working with students. So it always brings, so all the other stuff is now directed towards bettering and bringing joy to other people.
Oh my goodness, though. And these are all children who are ill, and they're in these places because that's where they live. They're ill.
A lot of them are there for long-term care.
Yeah.
Yes, we have a lot of patients who are waiting for, like I said, waiting for transplants, or who are going through cancer treatments. Some of them have pain issues. So Lucile Packard is a research hospital. So even we have patients who have pain and they don't know why. They come to our hospital and the doctors try and figure it out.
And you try to play with them and
we try and give them some joy.
Yeah, I love this game you talked about in here about We'll Help You Pack.
Yes.
Now, how do we play that game?
Well, that's a game we created this year. So one of the things that we've been discovering and documenting is which games work and why they work and for what kind of group they work with. So that the more I spend time in these situations, the more I'm getting evidence to collect as part of the program. So We'll Help You Pack is this game where we're like, okay, Shirley, you want to go on a vacation. I hear you're taking a vacation. Where are you going to go?
Oh, let's see. Venice.
Venice. Okay, so Shirley's going to go to Venice, but Shirley, your first class ticket is leaving in 10 minutes. So, and then everybody in the group is going to say, "We'll help you pack," and it's really fun. And like teenagers are like at first, but eventually we get them to say it, and then we all throw something in your luggage. So I'm going to throw in, you're going to need a gondola, okay, and then somebody else is going to say you're going to need a toothbrush, and it doesn't matter what they say. There's no right or wrong answer.
Of course.
So we've taken away the need to be right, the need to be perfect, the need to top anyone. It's not a game about who's better,
who wins.
There's no winners.
Yeah.
You know, we have one game where you can like win, but it's very silly winning. So kids love that game because it's very freeing. And once you sort of free students to suggest anything, it's amazing what can come out.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. So it's great.
Oh dear, I should take my bathing suit too in case I fall out of my gondola.
Probably somebody would suggest bathing suit, money, flippers.
Dear. Oh goodness.
Sandwich.
So it's like it says your games are all imagination.
Yes, we have our 3 rules. So in improvisation, if we started a class, and I'll bring in one of the wonderful interns here to kind of demonstrate a couple games for us. But we have three things that we use in improv. One, our voices, our bodies, and our imagination.
Yes.
And that's always my favorite one. And so then we start doing a warm-up to kind of get our bodies warmed up and our voices warmed up, and then games where we get to use our imagination.
Now you had a story in the newspaper article about a young girl who was violent and couldn't be dealt with, and you threw a puppet on her.
Yeah, I did. I used this little puppet here.
Oh, you brought the puppet?
I brought some puppets and I brought some props to kind of demonstrate, here's what we use. So this gal, I think my mom gave this to me actually. I just brought her in, I started, what are we doing? And she had maybe her oh my God, this is her voice in that moment. There was like a doctor there and a psychiatrist and me with the puppet. So she kept trying to direct her anger at me, and she was making fun of my hair, but I just kept using the puppet to interact with her, and eventually she and I were dancing, and then we got her sitting down, and then we're gonna do some math homework. So then we did some math homework, and she was doing her math homework, and she got her assignment done. It was incredible.
Oh, that is an adorable puppet.
Isn't she? She can be a little bit obnoxious sometimes,
No.
she seems to be well behaved today.
Yeah. And with my husband being an antique toy collector, I know toys. So
Do you?
that's an adorable one.
Yeah, so she's
I think you could even
popular
control
one.
me with that one. I don't know.
Just transfixing.
No, that's it's a wonderful idea though to instead of being stern with the children, to get them to laugh with you and to be happy about what they're doing. That's the part that really glows in this.
It glows. That's a great way of saying it. Yeah, it's very interesting to work with patients at the eating disorder clinic. You know, we have a lot of patients, they're kind of not forced, but they're required to do a certain amount of groups while they're there in treatment. And so we have, you know, patients who are coming in who are quite sick. They're not able to move very much. They're pretty shut down, and they're very suspicious of what we do. So I come in, you know, with my improv props and my puppets, and you can just see that they're very closed off. And so we start with activities that are very low stakes, so we get the buy-in. You know, the first game we play, you don't even talk. So I just say, hey everyone, welcome to improv. My partner, you know, says there's the 3 tools. We use our minds, our voices, our bodies, our imagination. There's only one rule in improv, and that is yes and. So if I say to Shirley, Shirley, tell me about your recent trip to Venice. You're not gonna say, I didn't go to Venice, I've been stuck here. You're gonna say, yes,
Yes!
And how was it?
Oh, it was marvelous.
It's marvelous.
I can imagine.
See, you're already doing great at improv. So by saying yes and, then it builds this energy. So, but our first activity is just, we're going to meld minds, Shirley. So I'm going to look at you in the eye, and then we're just going to clap at the same time. So we would, ready? There you go. And then you would just send it around the circle. So in doing so, we've connected everybody. Everybody's made eye contact. There's no winners or losers. It's so simple. And then we just build from there. And it's amazing. And I've done it with adults, too. I've did it with a group of counselors at a national conference this past spring. So we had standing room only volunteer. We had 14 people who were volunteers. They'd never done this before. They'd never seen it. And some of them were like, you know, adults are always trying to see, like, well, how do I do it correctly? What's the right way to do it?
I don't want to make a fool of myself.
Yeah, I don't want to be embarrassed. So we just kind of like build it, and it's remarkable. So I keep getting surprised that it's so effective. And that's why I want to do research to collect the data on it.
I could just see a book by you in a few years that
I'm working on it.
That will explain how to do this, and others can all benefit as they try to do it also.
Yes. Maybe when I finish that book, we can have another.
We can have
together.
the author on the Public Advocate and discuss the book.
Oh, I would like that.
No, I'm laughing, but I'm not laughing over that. I'm laughing because I'm happy, because it sounds like a wonderful idea. Oh goodness, yeah. It's just amazing how you got started in this, though. That you're doing something so specific. It just didn't happen to you. You worked your way into this in a way.
Yeah, I mean, some of it is happenstance. You know, I happen to know the other teacher who was there, and the teacher who was leaving, she went off to study music therapy, actually, and get her degree in that. So it's just, and now my former teaching partner is now back in England, and she's studying applied theater, getting her master's in that. So this has also been, because it's such transformative work for us teachers, it sort of launches us into like, what is the next thing, and how do we create more, how do we use the arts and the performing arts to better society and to heal people? So it's not just theater for theater's sake, for fun.
Just putting on a performance.
Yeah, it's not just putting on a performance. It's like, it's actually making a difference.
Oh my goodness. No, it's just fantastic what you've done. Oh, and you're going to be getting a degree in all of this.
Well, I'm going to get a degree in counseling eventually, you know, one of these days. So I'm giving myself lots of time so I can do my research and hopefully go attend more seminars and begin to show other counselors what we're doing here. So we start to get a national group together who are interested. And I've had counselors connect with me who wanted to use improvisation in prisons, improvisation in rehabilitation programs, in like elder homes for memory issue patients. So it's very interesting. The more that this gets out, more people are like, oh, I could see the use for this with these unique populations. So that's kind of exciting too.
Yes, I've had people on the show who've talked about the work they've done with the inmates at the prisons.
Yes.
And so they welcome, evidently welcome things that will help the people there.
Yeah, that's one population that I would be excited to work with. And I'm actually in contact with someone who read the article in the paper, and he works with the prison population. So he's like, I have a background in improv, so how do I do this? So that's one reason why maybe the book needs to be written.
Yes, definitely. Well, do let me know when it comes out. No, it's such a different thing that it isn't just caring for the children and getting them, toys or something like that. It's getting them up and out, which is important.
Yeah, and treating them like kids,
Yeah.
Like we'll have kids who will be hooked up to machines and they're getting various treatments or they're in wheelchairs, but just to have them act like kids with other kids, you don't even, not that you don't notice that they're sick, but it doesn't matter.
Right.
That's not the first thing that we see.
Did you see them using their mind to think of good things and fun things to do? It's a wonderful start for them.
Yeah, they desperately want it too. They just want to connect with that joy and that being a kid. And they're so strong and they're so funny. So one of the games that we play, the last game we play where you can win, is a game called Categories. And everybody in the group, so we come up with categories, like the category would be animals, and then we'd all name animals, and you have to just name it fast. I point to you, and if you name something, if you repeat it or you can't come up with anything, then you're out, right? So you put your arms and you give yourself a hug, and it goes to the next person.
Aww.
Well, one time but if you're out, then you get to suggest the next category. So one kid got out, and their next category that they suggested was medicines. And it was down to our last two patients, and they were going back and forth, naming medicines that I'd never heard of, but they were so familiar. They'd been in the hospital settings, and they just had this vocabulary and this inner world that they were all part of, and it was hilarious. Like dimextrin. I don't even know, but all the teachers, the teachers sometimes play with us too, and they're always such good sports.
Really?
Yeah, and the kids love it when the teachers play. Sometimes we have parents who will join us. We've had nurses who will join in our games, family members who will come. It's delightful.
No, it is. And it's wonderful for the children that they have all of those people working with them.
Yes, it's an amazing staff and everyone coming together. And then when the kids request it, they're like, "Oh, TheaterWorks is coming today. That's great." They're like, "Yay, it's something different."
Oh, that's great. That's great. Must make you feel so good.
It does. It's a little exhausting. I usually have to have a cup of coffee and something sugary from Starbucks to keep up with elementary school students.
You're talking here about the games Crazy 8, Two Truths and a Lie.
Right. So Crazy Eights, we play that especially with little kids because we want to also keep in mind that they're not getting a lot of physical exercise, and little kids have a lot of energy, right? So what we're trying to do is find ways to get that energy out. So Crazy Eights is just, we start with, we stand up if you can stand, and you sit if you sit, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you do your foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there's actual studies because we're switching parts of our bodies and we're crossing over. So now our brain is engaged in new ways. We're using both sides of the brain to do this. And then we'll do 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, yeah! And then we do that 2 times. So they're getting their energy out. They're, raising their heart rate a little bit. They're engaging both sides of their brain in kinesthetic ways. So it's even though it's really fun and silly and loud, it's actually also very good for them.
Oh, yes.
It's therapeutic.
Oh, yes.
So.
Oh, my goodness. Just imagine places where the sick children just lie there all day. I mean, it just takes so much time and attention, and you're giving it to them.
Well, when we go into rooms where patients are in isolation, so we'll go in and I'll bring oftentimes we're not even allowed to bring in anything because
Yeah.
it's a very hygienic environment. So one thing we always have in a hospital room is gloves. So we'll just grab a rubber glove and the game will be called This Is Nada. So I'll take the rubber glove and I'll be like, this looks like a hospital glove, but it's not. It's a, and then we'll just make up different things that it can be. So it's a, it's a beret. And then you would be like, Jenny, no, that's ridiculous. It's my new mustache. And we just come up with things.
Oh my gosh,
So
that sounds like fun to play.
It is fun. It's fun.
Oh dear, superhero.
Yes, Superhero is a game. Superhero is a game where there's a couple different ways to play it. One of the ways is like, you have a problem. What's your problem, Shirley? Do you have a problem?
No, I don't think I have a problem.
Oh,
really.
then I would say, okay, say yes. I have
Yes,
a problem.
yes, I have a
What's your problem? It can be anything. It can be made up or it can be real.
My cat keeps eating my dinner.
Ah, yes, your cat keeps eating your dinner. Well, here comes Cat Food Lady. Yes, I come from the planet Felinus, and I serve only the best and healthiest cat food that's also quite delicious. It tastes like mice. I've never seen a cat that doesn't eat it, so here you go. Okay, so then you're like, oh my gosh, thank you.
Oh.
And then I would be like, but oh no, I'm finding that I have terrible allergies. And then the next person would be like, well, luckily, it's Dr. Sneezer. And then they would just, they're the superheroes. Or another alternative is, you have a problem, and I say, oh, you have a problem? Your cat won't eat its supper? And then I will pull out a prop from my prop bag. And I was like, oh, well, what you need is this. This is a special cat, it's called a Cat Be Well, and you put the cat food in here, and then you just like heat it in the microwave for 30 seconds, and it has special cat stimulation in the bottom of the bowl, and so then the cats love it.
Oh, Edward and Honey Bunch would love that.
Edward
yeah.
and Honey Bunch would
Yeah,
love it.
yeah.
They're very finicky. We've
Yes,
known
oh yes,
that.
yes.
So you should definitely try this.
Definitely.
And then, but enough about you, Shirley, because I have a problem. My problem is that I keep getting lost when I'm in Marin. And so then you would say, oh, what you need, and then you could go ahead and pull something out of here. Oh wait, not that.
Not that?
That's not very fun. It's not big enough. Okay, pull something else out. There you go. Oh, so what's that called?
That's a signal device when you want the police to come.
Oh, great. Okay, so if I get lost, I can just do that?
Yeah, they'll come and pick you up.
Nice. What do you call it?
A police drum.
Police drum. Excellent. So then that's how you do that. So you see, it's just made up stuff on the spot. Police drum.
I think I failed. I'm not sure.
No, there is no failure in improv. Yay.
Aw. And this was so cute about where you were playing something where you were giving each other gifts and imagining what they were.
Yes, that's a game I would love to play with our intern, Catherine, is here.
Okay.
So play a couple of games with her just to show, like, here's an amazing young lady, student at Novato High. Come on in, Catherine. Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for letting me rope you into this.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, you bet. Tell me a little bit about, so actually, let's say that I'm meeting Catherine for the first time, which actually I just did meet you for the first time today. So I've come in with Catherine, we've done our mind melding game, and then I'm gonna ask the question of the day. So I'm gonna ask for a name, and the question of the day is, if you could be any dessert, what kind of dessert would you be?
Okay. If I was a dessert, I think I'd be ice cream.
Ice cream. What kind of ice cream?
Mint chocolate chip.
That
Mint
sounds
chocolate
good.
chip, yeah.
And what about you, Shirley? What kind of dessert would you be?
Goodness, well, I do like ice cream too.
Yeah?
I like the kind with nuts in it though. I like the chocolate with
little
nuts in
nutty.
it. Yeah, a little nutty.
I think I would be, let's see, on this hot, gosh, ice cream does sound good. Maybe like butterscotch ice cream with graham crackers sprinkled on it. Okay, so that's just another game that we're gonna play. And then we're gonna play the game, I like you so much, I got you this. So I say to Catherine, Catherine, I like you so much, I got you this. And I'm gonna hand Catherine an invisible gift, and you're going to say, thank you.
Thank you.
I've always wanted.
I've always wanted a flower pot.
Yes, you're welcome. So whatever Catherine says, it doesn't matter. It's all beautiful. Okay, so that's great. Now, will you give Shirley a gift?
Here, Shirley.
Say, I like you so much.
I like you so much.
Oh,
I got you this.
I got you this.
Thank you.
And you say, I've always wanted.
I've always wanted another kitten.
Here we go. That's great.
Yeah, the little kitty. Yes, a little kitty. Aww.
Right, okay, and then you can put the kitten in your lap,
Oh,
whatever,
okay, we'll
and then
put
you
it
can
on there.
give me a gift.
Oh, yes, Jenny. And here, this is for you.
'Cause
We
you like
all
me
have
so
it.
much.
Yes, I like you so much. And-
Shirley, you're so sweet. Oh my goodness, it's a tiara. So I
Oh.
put my tiara on. So that would be
Right.
like round one, and then we'd be like, oh my gosh, you guys are so advanced. So then we would make each other gifts. So Catherine, I like you so much, so I made this for you. Open it.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, I've always wanted.
I've always wanted a necklace.
Yes, and now I'm gonna say what I made it out of. Catherine, I made that out of hemp rope and Native American artifacts, which I found when I was hiking, and glitter glue.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And then you can give Shirley the gift that you made her.
Here, Shirley, I like you so much. I made you a gift.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. That's just a lovely flower plant. Did you grow it all yourself and
Yeah, I
everything?
did.
Yes.
I planted the seeds and everything.
Oh, what a lovely tulips. I love tulips
Oh,
and everything.
good.
Yes. Yes. And since we all have gifts here, we want you to have another one too.
Oh my, did you make this for me?
Yes, I certainly did.
You are just so kind. Okay, it's oven mitts. How did you know? And what did you make them out of?
Oh, cotton. Yeah.
Cotton?
Yeah.
They're great. I love that they say Shirley Graves on this one, and on this one, forever. So that's how we play that game.
Yes.
So that would be a game we would play. We would also play the game, with a small group. So we have different sized groups. Every week is a different group, so we never know who's going to come to our class. Sometimes we have patients who have to leave in the middle of it. But I might pull out, let's see here, like this. This looks like a leather leaf from Africa. But it's not. It's actually, and then we're just going to make up stuff that it could be. It's actually my eye patch. And then Catherine's going to say, no, Jenny, not your eye patch. It's a
hat.
It's a hat. And then Shirley's going to...
Well, of course not. That's a cookie I just bought at the bakery.
Oh, my friend, you are sadly mistaken. It's my new iPhone 9. In leather.
It looks like an iPhone 10, 11, or
Right,
12. I don't know.
It's the extra large version. It's like watch my television shows.
Oh.
And then you would say, no. What else could it be?
No, it's actually shoes.
Shoes.
Shoes. Well, thank you for the box of stationery.
No, not stationary. And so we could do this for like 100 rounds. Who knows? Like we can go forever and ever. After a while, we sort of run out of ideas.
No.
And if you keep pushing it, that's when this really interesting stuff comes out of their imagination. So we're also starting to get unconscious clues about what's going on with patients and students, which is always very interesting.
I bet you do. Can you think of anything that you've heard in this way from the patient that has helped them in any way?
Well, one thing that comes up, we had a patient this past year who was in long-term care, and he was in isolation, so he wasn't having much socialization. So whenever we would play this game, he loved to come up with guns. Guns, like anything that could explode or blow things up or terrorize, he would come up with it. And his mom was in there too. So, you know, one of the challenges was how to redirect that stuff that's coming out into a way that's still playing and not shutting him down, not saying no, but also directing him away from suggestions that are violent.
Yeah.
And I had another patient, not this past year, but maybe the year before, who when he came in, he was very shut down. He wouldn't talk. His suggestions in the beginning were actually kind of frightening. He would make suggestions about like suicide. You know, this is a bomb, or this is a suicide device, and like, you know, I was worried about him, but I sat next to him. I made sure that I was making a lot of eye contact. I gave him a lot of attention, and over time with these games, and when he would suggest things like that, I would try and redirect it. So we would give him options of other options besides that anger that he was feeling, you know, without shutting him down and saying that's not appropriate, but like, what else could it be? What else? That's what this game does. What else could it be? What else could this be besides awful? What else could this be besides violent? Oh, it could be silly. It could be dry. It could be ironic. And so over like 6 weeks, this student was in our group. His humor started coming out, and he was actually really bright and very funny. And when he left the hospital, he and I were like laughing, he was talking, his nervous twitches had stopped, and it was pretty remarkable. So that was very exciting.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Well, that's great to have a memory like that of someone you specifically helped with a, you know, kind of a funny little game that you played with.
Yeah, these little things make a difference. You know, we've had patients with autism who have a hard time connecting socially. And these games give them really structured ways of connecting with the group in a way that feels safe, and also allows us a really interesting creative side to come out.
Wow.
So that's the next step. I'm working towards getting a grant that would allow me to develop an improv program to go into schools and places like high schools and elementary schools where we have autistic students and non-autistic students together doing improv together. Because oftentimes we don't see autistic students interacting with mainstream students. So that's one of the goals, is how to get those two groups to work together. So we'll see. Keep your fingers crossed. That's the next one. So what else? Have you ever taken any theater classes before?
No, I haven't.
There you go. So improv's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Wow.
Thanks, Catherine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Hi,
Oh, goodness.
Catherine.
You had in the newspaper, you talked about a particular child that just curled himself in the ball on the floor because he didn't want to interact with other children, and the family were, you know, all the family members were very upset, and you and your chicken went to work.
Oh yeah, I think I brought
on
the
it,
chicken
and
out.
I just thought some stories like that might be interesting about particular children that you dealt with. That oh my.
So different puppets work for different, you know, this is a chicken. And sometimes I actually bring my puppets into the classes. The little kids really like them. These puppets are made for adult hands, but one of the nice things is that when we play puppets, we get to kind of introduce, so I'll give a puppet, everyone gets to choose their puppet. I have a big bag of puppets. It's pretty dorky. And then we say, okay, you know what? Actually, this is going to be better if I just bring out the puppets so you can pick one, Shirley.
Oh, okay.
All right. So,
My goodness.
I know, it's a lot of stuff. So this is, we have a cat.
Oh, a cat.
These
Wow.
are just a few. I didn't bring all of
Yes.
them. I have a moose. I have the lion and the mermaid back there. We have another
looks-
lion. We have a horse.
That looks like my kitty, Honey Bun.
Okay, so you want to do the
She's
you want to use
black
the
and
kitties?
white, and I think chickens are lovely. I mean,
Right. So go ahead and pick a puppet.
Okay, I'll play with Honey
All right,
Bunch here.
so you play with Honey Bunch, I'll use
Yeah.
the chicken. So we're gonna just put the puppet on our hand and we're going to kind of look at what does our puppet look like? You know, how does their mouth move? Do they have a big mouth? Do they have big eyes? And how does their body kind of flap around? And we're going to give our puppets a voice. So this is where we start. So you're going to look at your puppet and ask yourself, you know, if I have a low voice. We've done some vocal warm-ups in our class already, so your voice, we got a high voice. And are you talking like this, or does it have a southern drawl, or like what does it talk? So, and then we're going to introduce ourselves. So the chicken's going to introduce itself. We're going to ask it like, you know, what is its name? Where is it from? What does it like to eat? What makes it laugh and what makes it cry? Or what makes it scared? I think that's usually better. What makes it laugh, what makes it scared? So I might say, hi, my name is Waco, and I'm from Houston, Texas, and I like to eat butter beans. Butter beans are my favorite food. And one thing that makes me laugh is movies with Tom Hanks. I love movies with Tom Hanks. I just think he is so full of talent that I just cannot stop watching him. So I love to watch movies with Tom Hanks. And one thing that makes me afraid is plastic, because I know that they always try and catch chickens and then wrap them in plastic, bring them to the barbecuing place. So I just prefer to stay away from plastic. And that's my story. All right, so what about you, Kat? What's your name?
Oh, my name is Honey Bunch.
Good, and so you're gonna practice, you feel how it's like, there's Honey Bunch. So you
Yeah.
can see her moving.
Yeah.
All right.
And
Hi, and then we're all gonna say, hi, Honey Bunch. All right.
hi.
Honey Bunch, where are you from?
I live in Nevada with my
Keep your mouth moving.
Yeah, with my wonderful mother Shirley.
Oh, Honey Bunch, I bet Shirley takes good care of you, right?
Oh, she gives me lots of good food.
Lovely, lovely.
Yes,
And
yes.
what is one thing that you like to eat, Honey Bunch?
Oh, well, I like all the cat food.
Good.
I'm not too hard to please, but when they do open a can
her
of
moving her
tuna,
mouth. There you
when
go.
they do open a can of tuna, though, I really like to sneak in on a little bit of that.
There
Yeah,
you
yeah.
go. Oh, little tuna fish.
Yeah.
And what's one thing that makes you laugh?
Oh, when they tickle me. Yeah, when they tickle me.
Good.
Then I laugh. Ha, ha,
Good.
ha, 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 ha.
And what's one thing that makes you scared?
Oh, well, when the other cat comes in. Edward can be kind of difficult to get along with.
Edward.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Well, you know, King Edward has always been that way, and I try to, you know, get along with him, but I have to really watch it when he comes in the room to make sure that, you know, he knows I'm watching.
Yes, I have always been suspicious of monarchical characters. That's why I prefer a chicken world, because we are a very democratic society. Everybody's equal in chicken world.
Ah.
In Houston. Well, right, so then we would go around and everyone, and then maybe we'll sing, you know, we might sing a song with the little kids in our puppet voices. So that's really fun. If we use puppets with teenagers, it's a little bit of a different challenge, because their buy-in with puppets is harder. It's a little riskier. It's not as cool. So in that way, we make it like a support group, where all the different puppets are in sort of like court-advised support group. So the chicken, so my name's Waco, and everyone says, hi, Waco, what are you in for? Well, I'm in here because I didn't do my taxes. And when I played this game in the eating disorder clinic, and that was actually somebody said that, he's like, I'm here. And this is a patient who was just like this. But then we got the puppets out. Suddenly we've gone from them having to use their own voice. Sometimes a puppet is a great vehicle for people who are uncomfortable
Talking
using
with
themselves,
the
but they can use this as their voice.
Oh, you know, that makes sense almost.
Yeah.
That maybe they'd say things in the animal's voice that they wouldn't have told you in their real voice.
Right. And interesting, you know, they can come up with different voices. So, you know, the kinds of things that come out, we're just giving patients and students and clients lots of different options to express themselves. Whatever they say is accepted. So there's no there's no rejection of their ideas.
Right.
Which we don't get very often in society. Our society loves to like classify and say this is good and this is bad and this is better and this is worse. But in improv, everything is accepted.
And they're playing a game.
And they're playing a game, so it's safe.
That must be interesting for children. I can't imagine thinking about doing it way back then when I was, it just wasn't anything I was involved in, and I think it's wonderful that these children have that.
Well, and I think it's a little nerve-wracking, especially for bigger kids and adults. They get a little bit anxious because am I going to be funny enough? Is what I'm going to say, are people going to like it? Are they going to laugh at me? We had one patient this year who, she was very nervous about being laughed at when she first joined us. And she didn't want to play games. And gradually we got her to agree to play at least three of the activities. And then by the end of her time with us, on our last day, she was okay being not only just laughing, having the group laugh at something she had said, but she was even happy to be the center of attention, which she never would have done in the beginning because she was just terrified that people were making fun of her. But now she could be the center of attention. Oh, sorry. Be the center of attention and enjoy that.
Goodness.
So that was really great.
So you see all these little improvements with the people as you're working with them.
I do. It gives me a lot of hope.
Oh, that's wonderful. Think of some more. It's so interesting.
Gosh, it's like I've got a notebook with 5 years of anecdotal experiences.
Oh my, it must be thick.
Yeah, patients where we've had like siblings come in when one of them's sick and the other one's not, and they both participate in the activity. We have one family who, and I have to be careful because I also need to be very mindful of the fact that we're protecting also their privacy.
Oh, true.
But we have one family that all of the kids have the same genetic defect. So I've seen, now that I've been there for almost 6 years, I've had 3 of the children in the hospital with the same issue. They've all needed a transplant. And so watching the siblings come back, watching one sibling. And so then these kids have now learned some of the games that we've been playing since the beginning, and then also the new games. So then they can play with each other, and they come back. And then one girl who started as an elementary school student now can come back as a middle school and high school and is playing. So
with her relatives, with her family.
With her siblings, yeah. With her.
Oh.
So,
oh my goodness.
It's very interesting.
Yes. Yes, some people go through so much. Those of us who haven't had people in the hospital for something, to read about that, it's just very hard to take that some people go through so much in that way, and you've seen so much of it.
I do, and I see how brave they are. One of the questions that I get is, well, doesn't it make you sad to be there and see all of these kids who have to go through this? And every year we have patients that die. Some of them, we've had a couple patients that died this year, and they loved improv. So I got to know them very well, and that's always hard to say to watch them pass, but to know that while they were in the hospital, you helped alleviate their suffering, and you gave them some joy, you gave them an escape, you gave them an ability to connect and feel a little bit more like a child. I guess that's the comfort.
Well, you gave them something they wouldn't have had otherwise.
We try. We try. So, do you like that puppet?
Yes. Yes.
I think you two are fast friends.
Yes, we're fast friends. We'll have to come and visit sometime again, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I've always loved cats. I mean, I've had a cat all my life. I mean, at one point in my life, 5, 6 years ago, we had 13 of them. But
that's a lot of cats, Shirley.
I was helping a lady who was rescuing cats. And she'd get, 20 of them in her home or something, and she'd say, could I take a litter while she had ads in the paper for the other ones and whatnot. And
wow.
try to do your part, you know.
Exactly. Everyone, we're all trying to do our part.
But right now, there's just the two.
So if anybody needs to dump cats off, Shirley Graves, ladies and gentlemen, she'll take your cat.
Oh, we always try to help.
We do.
But find them. This lady worked very hard for some years doing that. Yeah. Oh, this is so cute, though. My goodness. Yeah, this is cute. 'Cause it's so funny because it looks like our honey bunch.
Yeah.
Well, you certainly have a wonderful, wonderful occupation. I mean, it's more like a hobby. It's more like I'm not denigrating it in any way, but I mean, it's not like going out and doing laundry or housework or something. I mean, or accounting or something like that. You go out and work with people and children and help them and see them return to good form, and it must be just a wonderful way to come home at night and think of what you've done.
It's fun. At the end of the day, I feel a lot of joy at the end of the day. And the funny thing is, I have a wonderful sister, and she hates improv. And so I'm always trying, one of our jokes is I'm always trying to get her to do improv. I'm like, hey, there's an improv class in the city over in Fort Mason. Would you like to come with me? And she's like, no. I'm like, let's do an improv game. Yeah. So we're a good balance because she's the math mind of it.
I see. Well, this has been just a wonderful learning experience to talk with you and to hear everything you've done. And you will be on our show for the month. And,
Thank you.
I just can't get over what wonderful things you have to do and say.
Thank
and
you.
we hope to check in with you again and bring your stuffed animals back too.
Yes, I will.
So thank you very much, and for Public Advocate, we'll say thank you.
Thank you.